All right. Thanks for jumping on the call, girls. It is Wednesday, April 19th. It's hard to believe that we are, I feel like we just said it was the beginning of the month, and here we are, almost to the end of the month already, which is kind of crazy to me. But tonight I would like to talk about adding to your list. And last week we talked about starting conversations and getting the conversations going with new and existing friends. So this week I would like to talk with you about how I add to my list and how I really connect with people and connect with people who are more my tribe. Because how many of you would really love for more people to come to you? That you would just attract people to you. It wouldn't be quite so much work every day to do. We always are going to have to invite, right? We're always going to have to reach out and send those personal messages to people. But how many of you would love for your tribe to start following you and connect with you on a deeper level and reach out to you to ask questions because they already feel like they know you and they want to be either a part of your tribe or be a part of your circle? Like all of us, right? We want that. That's what we want. That's our ultimate goal, is to attract people who relate to us, because we can't relate to everybody. We're not going to be the right fit for everybody, right? We need to be the right fit for people who are like us or who we used to be. Okay. So before we dive into that, I do have a couple things that I would like to mention. One, next week, I'm not going to be able to do a team call, but I would love for you guys to still have one because I think it's important to continue to grow and learn and plug into the team at least once a week. But with us leaving for Punta Cana next week, I'm going to be, Marguerite, stop it. Okay, I got it. We're going to be leaving at 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's just not going to happen. Okay. So I would love for somebody to come forward and be willing to, I'll give you my login information if you would like to use my Zoom so that you have a full access, so you don't have to worry about the 45 minutes if you have the free one. But if somebody could please message me or comment in the group that they would be willing to host whatever topic next week for a team call, I would really appreciate that. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and dive into our call. And how many of you struggle with adding to your list? Is that something that you do on a regular basis, or is it something that you kind of push to the side because maybe it intimidates you, you're not really sure how to do it, it feels uncomfortable? Does that kind of sound familiar to you guys, all of those things? Okay, yeah, so, and I was the same way. I seriously put off adding to my list until about 6 months ago, which is pretty sad. But I did, because I kept looking at my list saying, oh, well, I have 1,200 friends. I don't need to add. I haven't enrolled 1,200 people. I'm going to enroll all of those people that are already my friends. But that's just not the way that it works, you guys. And it's uncomfortable to add to your list at first if you're not used to doing it, but it's something that's vital to growing your business, because what will happen is you're going to stay in the same circle of people and having the same conversations over and over and over. And then you feel like you're beating your head against the wall and you're getting nowhere. Does anybody ever feel like that? You feel like, I don't have anybody else to talk to. I've already talked to everybody on my list, right? You haven't talked to everybody on your list, but it feels that way because you've hit this cap and you are already past talking to the people that you're comfortable talking to. Okay, so that's why it's so important to add to your list and start those new conversations with new people. And I can tell you this, as you're starting new conversations with all these new people, you start to find people that you like. That people who are like you, people who are your tribe, people who you connect with. Marguerite and I didn't know each other at all. We had zero connections. And she was somebody that I added because she was a friend of a friend. And she's one of my greatest friends, So had I not stepped out of that comfort zone and started adding new people to my list, sure, there's people on there that I really probably would never hang out with in person. And I still connect with those people on a different level, but then you find those people who you just adore and you connect on a different level and you become really good friends and you have so much more to talk about. And they're people who you want to hang out with. They're people you want to share rooms with at Summit. And they're people that you want to surround yourself on a regular basis outside of the business, outside of helping them accomplish their goals. And that's really what we want, right? We want to attract people who are like us and that we want to be with. So we have to go through this process of adding new people to make new connections and find those people. They aren't going to just come to us, you guys. That's not how this business works. Eventually, as you grow your following, if you're doing your social media with a Facebook like page and you're following a training like Jesse Reagan's where you're using attraction marketing, yes, that's going to happen eventually. But if you're working mostly off of your personal page or personal profile and you're trying to grow those new relationships, we need to continually add to our list, okay? There's a couple different ways that you can do that. I recently spoke to one of our coaches who was feeling very discouraged because she had made a lot of new friends in a Facebook like group. And a lot of those people had, or some of those people had become coaches or enrolled with a challenge group and not with this particular coach. And she was feeling a bit discouraged. And so that can be discouraging when you invest a lot of time into a group and building those connections. But one, if we don't ever ask them, you guys, people need health and wellness, right? People need that inspiration in their life. And if we don't ask, and if we're not the ones to be there to support them through that, they're going to find somebody to do it. But above and beyond that, what I want to share with you tonight is how to add to your list and how to make those connections, okay? So the first one, like I just said, is using Facebook groups to find groups that are unique to you. Not clean eating groups, not weight loss challenge groups, not something that another Beachbody coach is going to be in or potentially be the person who's running the free group, okay? You want to find things that are unique to you. For example, I'm in a couple Doberman groups, okay? And I have friended people from those Doberman groups because I have Dobermans and that's something that is unique to me. So make a list of things that are unique to you that you can get involved with and start meeting new people in Facebook groups, okay, like communities. I will say this, that is something that's going to take some time and take some investing, okay? You can't just expect to go into a group and friend a bunch of people and then all of a sudden they're going to join you or be excited about what you're doing. You might have a couple people that you really connect with and you become friends with fairly quickly and they kind of watch what you're doing, and that's awesome, okay? But we have to remember, this business isn't built in a week. And if we think that by doing the vital behaviors consistently for 1 week is going to make us shoot into this rank advancement and this high income and all of these things like Janelle Summers and Meg Wazinski and April McDonald and all those guys, it doesn't happen, you guys. It's something that they have been consistent with for years to create the foundation that they have, okay? So you can go into Facebook groups. You can start connecting with people through conversation there. I wouldn't encourage you to do that, spend a whole lot of your time, maybe 5 minutes a day, right? Maybe go into a group, check out what people are talking about, make a couple comments, and just be present in the group 5 to 10 minutes a day. Don't invest a lot of your time because, yes, that is something that's going to help your business grow, but is that something that's going to immediately help your business grow? No. It's not like inviting. So I don't want you to sacrifice inviting or doing your workout or reaching out and connecting with people one-on-one to be present in this group for a half an hour or 45 minutes a day. Does that make sense? So just set a timer and go in there for 5 to 10 minutes, okay? The way that I personally have been really comfortable and having really great results with adding to my list is simply going to a friend's profile. So I will go to my friends list. I'm going to screen share and I'm going to use Marguerite as my guinea pig just because her name's there. Just because your name is there. Let me pull out my Facebook. I'll just show you. I think Marguerite's one up. Yeah, so she's my first one that pops up. So I would click on Marguerite. Obviously, this is not what I'm going to do on a regular basis because Marguerite is a coach and I don't want to take her friends. So what I would do to somebody who I know is not a coach, I would go to their friends and then I would scroll down. Marguerite, I don't know if you have yours private or not. I guess that's going to make the difference if I'm going to use you for an example or not. My friends list, okay, so I would encourage you as a coach, make your friends list private so other coaches cannot poach you or other MLMs cannot poach your friends, okay? See how I can see when you make your friends list private, they can only see your mutual friends. They cannot see your entire friends list. Does that make sense? Go into your privacy settings, Google how to do it. It's super easy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is going on? I don't know why that did that. That's really weird. Can you guys see that on my screen, those lines? That's really weird. Okay, so what I would do is I would scroll and I would see, okay, Letitia, her and I have 8 mutual friends. Okay, I put my cursor over her name and I make sure that it doesn't say like Lavelle or Unique or, you know, all the other MLMs that are going to be spammy and not really probably people that I'm going to connect with in the job description. It doesn't always tell you, but it does give you a little bit of information, okay? So I would look and see who she is a little bit there. I look at her mutual friends. We're going to pretend that Marguerite is not her friend. She doesn't have any fellow coaches in common. I would shoot her an add friend, okay? So I do that to 3 people on Marguerite's friend list. No more than 3. I only do 3. And I find 3, like this is a picture. She has some kids in the picture. I don't usually friend request people that just have their kids in the profile picture. I want somebody who's confident enough in themselves to have themselves in the picture too. Does that make sense? I want somebody who's bold enough to have themselves in the picture. I would scroll down, find somebody else who I might connect with. So Krista, we'll just scroll on hers. Looks like she has a kiddo and she's a woman who's probably close to my age. She doesn't have any mutual friends, or she has mutual friends but no mutual coaches in common. I would click add. So again, I would do that to 3 people on Marguerite's list. Then I either go back to my friends list or I would just go up here and pick somebody else who I am mutual friends with that person and just click on somebody new, okay? Again, I would go to their friends list and I would scroll down and do the exact same thing. I would kind of quickly skim and see who looks like they might be a good connection and who I have more than 2 mutual friends in common with, okay? So like Samantha would be one that I would probably shoot a friend request to. No mutual coaches in common, click add friend, okay? So how I personally do it is this is kind of childish, but it's what works for me. I put my 5 fingers out like this as I'm clicking with my mouse. Once I do 3 friends on one friends list, I put my thumb down. Then when I do the next 3 on another friends list, I put my finger down. And I do that all the way through my fingers, and then I put them all back up, which means I've sent 30 requests, right? Because it's 3 times 10 different friends. I do that every single day, okay? It takes me about 10 minutes. It doesn't take that long, you guys. And I'm adding anywhere from 5 to 15 people a day. 5 to 15 people a day. Think about what that would do for your exposure to making new connections and finding people who are like you. And it only takes me 5 to 10 minutes a day. Like, that's pretty easy, right? It goes quick. You can kind of look over the people. You have some mutual things in common because you have common friends. And then once they accept, I use my reach out script that I shared with you last week. And so like if they accept my request today, they go on my list that they were added for tomorrow's list because I look at who was added before I send more requests. Okay, so each morning that's the first thing that I do when I start working my business. Then I send my reach out script and I say, hey girl, thank you so much for the ad. I saw that we have some really awesome mutual friends in common. We'd both be safe, blah, blah, blah. That script is what I send to every single person. Now, This is where I think most coaches get hung up. Oh, so-and-so didn't accept my friend request. So-and-so didn't accept. I sent this many and only this many. Who gives a shit? If they don't want to accept your friend request, why are you going to let that hold you up? Right? You have no control over that. None. Zero. So don't worry about it. Just move on. I can't even tell you. I think 1 week, just to share with you girls, I did my 30 requests every day. And when I went through and cleared my friend requests, I had like 67 people who didn't accept or something crazy like that. Do you think I let that get me down? No. Why am I going to let something that's totally out of my control ruin my day? So don't get hung up on the people who don't. What I do is on Mondays, I will go into, let me go back to screen share and I'll show you how it works. If you go to this little guy here, it'll say see all. And then you can go view sent requests. Every Monday morning, the very first thing I do is I go here, I click on this, and I cancel the request. So I will let these people have an entire week or whatever, you know, if I do it on Friday, it's obviously not an entire week. But by Monday, if they haven't accepted my request, they're not going to accept. So I go here and I just hit cancel request and I clear that out so that way I don't have too many requests where it looks, you know, Facebook might flag me and say, oh, she's trying to spam a bunch of people. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So I can tell you this, it does take a little bit of time. It's going to take time to connect with those people. But I can also tell you this, it's super easy to do. It doesn't take a lot of your time. Okay, it's going to help build your network so you have more engagements on your post. You start finding people who are more like you and who you can have good conversations with and who you can invite that's going to raise your ceiling. The reason people aren't successful in multi-level marketing companies is because they cap out. They stop talking to people. They stop growing their list. You guys, the potential for this business is unlimited. But if we don't tap into it, we're going to hit a point that we can't do anything, right? So adding to your list is so important, but do it in a way that's efficient and doesn't drain you, okay? Do it in a smart way so that you don't feel like you're pouring all this love into a relationship that isn't really going anywhere, okay? I don't ever want you to give up or be discouraged because a conversation isn't going where you want it to. If it's not going where you want it to, move on. But if you're not adding to your list every day, you don't have enough people to move on to. And then that's when we what? We stop. Because we're like, oh, well, we have nobody to talk to. Okay? The other thing is, I can't tell you how many people have come back to me right away or reached out to me before I've even had a chance to reach out to them asking me about health and fitness. Because what is my social media? It's not a billboard for it, but I'm sharing my journey, right? I'm consistent in posting that health and fitness and wellness and inspiration are a huge part of my life every single day. And people look at that. So make sure that you're being consistent with your posts and what you're sharing on your social media. Is it something that you would want to follow? Because we're trying to attract people like us. So if you look at your page and it's not something that you would find inspiring or want to connect with, then your followers aren't going to either, right? And the last tip I want to share with you is make sure you're being open. When you're making connections with people, when you're making connections with people or you're inviting, are you being open and vulnerable with them? Are you sharing a piece of you? It's not a one-sided street. What we're offering to people is an opportunity to change their life. It's a really big freaking deal. People don't just trust anyone with the things that they share with us as coaches. They're vulnerable. It's things that are scary. It's things that are unknown. It's things that they don't talk to people about openly most of the time, right? Think about your demons and the things that you kind of hold in and that have maybe gotten you to your lowest point or where you are right now. That's not something that you just go shout out to the world. So we need to connect on a deeper level so that they know that they can trust us. So being open and vulnerable on your posts, on your social media, not just putting something up with 2 sentences. And when you're talking with people, sharing a little bit of you. You know, don't just say, hey girl, like, how are you doing? Hey girl, how are you doing? How are things going? Things have been a little bit crazy here, but my husband and I are excited to go on our trip soon. Just wanted to see how things were with you. Give a little bit of you. Don't talk about you all the time. But what I have found is you start to connect differently with people when you're open. So think about that the next time that you have a conversation with someone. Are you open, or are you just thinking business and just thinking numbers? Or are you genuinely trying to get to know that person and connect with them on a friendship? Because if we lead with our hearts and we lead with friendship and being genuine first, the rest is easy, you guys. Because then we build the trust, because we're not here just to sell to people. I'm not. And I don't think that any of you are. You're here because you want to inspire people. You want to make your mark. You want to do something bigger. Doing something bigger happens by connecting on a deeper level, right? It doesn't happen by just, oh, hey, how are you doing? You want to buy this product, and you push it down their throat. So just remember to be open. And if we want them to open up, we have to open up too. Use feel, felt, found, you guys. If somebody's telling you about the struggles that they've had, share a little bit of yours. Share how you're working through it. Maybe you're not through it yet, but you're working towards it, right? Maybe a little bit better every day. So don't be afraid to share that vulnerability with people, because we don't have to be perfect. Okay? And one last thing. So another way that obviously you can add to your list is by one-on-one connections with, meeting people in person and adding them to your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever social media you're using, because that's how people get to know us anymore, you guys. Everybody is on social media. That's how people get to connect with us and see what we're doing. Okay? Does anybody have any questions or anything to add? Oh, let me see what the messenger says first. Yes, I want to make my list private. Yes, absolutely do that, all of you. Are you sending them a message or just hitting add? Nope, I just add them. I don't send them a message until they actually accept. It was taking a lot more time to send them a message. Like a year ago, I tried doing that and I quit doing it because nobody would respond to my message. And then I got discouraged. So now all I do is, like I said, I literally go through 10 people's friends list and I make it 10 new people every day. So I'm getting a new connection with people. And I try to make it people that I'm not really close with or maybe aren't local. So I'm expanding my branches further, if that makes sense. And I'm literally just sending them a friend request. If they accept, awesome. I'm connecting with them the very next day. If they don't, then like I said, I just clear them out on Monday morning. That's the first thing I do on Mondays. Okay. Yeah, save your time on that, because they don't always get it. And it's just, I think that's like 10 minutes that you could have sent 10 more requests. You know what I mean? Instead of sending them a message first. Cool. Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead, Tatiana. Can you get it?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yep.
So I don't know if anyone else has seen this yet, but the other day when I was doing my request, I found this button on Facebook, and it's actually called like Discover People. Have you guys seen that yet?
Yeah, like you can do people who like, or people who are friends with, or like different things like that. Is that what you're talking about?
No, like the way that it showed up for me on my phone was when I clicked on it, I had just recently gone to like 2 birthday parties. And so it had all the people who had attended the birthday party with me. So instead of like me having to search and find them, they were all just there. And so I was able to just 1, 2, 3 request all the people that I had just been talking with in person.
So that was on your phone?
Yeah. So I haven't done it on the computer. I've only ever done it on my phone.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Can you see?
I'm looking. The only thing I know of is the people you may know, like on your computer or whatever. But I personally have found most of those people to be other MLMs. So I personally quit using the people you may know.
Yeah, no, this is actually, it's called Discover People.
Let's see.
So like when I go into my phone and I go into Facebook, if you hit like the 3 little lines.
Yeah.
And then when you click on that, it's like the very first thing above events. I have an Android. I don't know if it's different on iPhones.
Oh, I see. Mine is down further. So if you guys, I don't know if you can you see it? How it says Discover People?
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't played around with that, but that would be
Do it.
Around. So it's basically people who
you've recently connected with or have had
recent events. Like you can look at recent events. Oh yeah. There, Marguerite's sharing it. How do you get your phone to share, Marguerite? Because I'm iPhone stupid and I'm not sure how to do that. No, that's a awesome tool so that you can, yeah, mine just shows like people who are going to events that I've been invited to.
Yeah, see, like mine, like I said, when I first discovered the button, I had just gone to 2 birthday parties and they had sent out like, you know, a Facebook invite to the birthday party.
Yeah.
And all the people that I had connected with at the party and had talked to, they were all in that event. And so I was able to, you know, just click request them real quick. And then once they accepted, you know, I was like, oh, it was so great, you know, getting to know you at the birthday party. I'm so glad, you know, we were able to reconnect and, you know, so on and so forth.
That's awesome. Yeah, I hadn't seen that. So thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. I'll definitely mine is actually showing events around or upcoming events, past events, groups of people you may know, and then discover people. So then it like shows people living in Woodville, things like that. So that would be another way to play around with it and see. But I would do the same thing. Like if you don't know the person, I would just shoot them a request rather than, you know, spending a whole lot of extra time investing into that person before you actually connect with them.
I know this time around, I didn't message them until after they had already accepted.
Yeah.
Request.
Awesome.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope it'll
Does that help? Does that help? Like, I know that it's a little scary at first and it is uncomfortable to send those requests, but like, we just have to do it. It's just one of those things that like, you just have to rip the Band-Aid off and just do it because it like, if they don't accept, they don't accept, right? We just can't get hung up on stuff like that. And I know sometimes that's hard, but this is how I look at it. And maybe it's a little bit of tough love and maybe it's bold, but those people aren't going to determine, I'm not going to allow those people to determine my dreams and how far I go in life. So if they don't decide to accept my friend request, peace. I mean, next, you know what I mean? I want to find the people who want my help and who want to work with me and who are excited about making changes and who want to meet new people and be around positivity. And some people just aren't ready for that. Some people don't use Facebook a lot. And, you know, we can't take it personally. And I think that sometimes we do as coaches. We let that deflate our balloon when we're excited and we start diving back in and gaining some momentum in our business and our daily activities. And then we let one person or one missed reply or something like that deflate our entire existence. And we just have to move forward and not allow that to happen. We have the control. Yeah. I super appreciate all of you being on this call and taking the time to make this a priority. So you take the time every week to be on these calls, you guys, put it into action, right? Put what you're learning and what you're taking away and what we talk about, put it into action. Start now. Even if it's 30 minutes a day, make a to-do list. You know, if you've kind of fallen off track and you felt overwhelmed, I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. I always am. Last week, I was a freaking hot mess. Hot mess because I was gone for 7 days. I was exhausted with her. It just was a really cruddy week. I was super busy at work, and I didn't do great at inviting. I kept my head above water, and I kept reaching out to people and following up with the people who were in my inbox, but I didn't do a whole lot other than that, okay? So what I promised myself this week is I'm going to get back to my normal numbers, but I'm going to make a to-do list, and I'm just going to check one thing off a day that I need to get caught up on. I'm not going to beat myself up to get everything done in one day. So if you found yourself struggling, or maybe you've fallen off track a little bit and you have like this overwhelming feeling of getting a bunch of things done, just start. Make your to-do list, check them off one thing at a time, and move forward. But don't let that paralyze you, because it's only going to get worse. That feeling is only going to get worse the longer that you wait, okay? So get back to your normal vital force, make a to-do list of the other things that you need to get caught up on, and do one a day. And just slowly get caught up on your list and say, okay, I'm going to do my best today, and I'm not going to beat myself up about not being able to accomplish everything in one day. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. Oh, see, I love you, everybody. Her little crazy ears. This one just curls up. Hello. Can't tell I love her, can you? All right, girls. Thank you again so much for being on the call. I really, really appreciate all of you, and I love all of you. Big congratulations. I know Melissa's not on the call tonight. She was planning on it, but big congratulations to Melissa, because they finally had an offer accepted, and I'm so excited that they found their home and they aren't going to be homeless at the end of the month. So that's super exciting for those guys. Like I said, if anybody is willing to host a team call for us next week, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And so would everyone else on the team. So if you can just let me know. And if we have more than one person, then we can schedule it out and have a couple more friends help host the calls over the next few weeks. Okay. All right, cool. Thanks, girls. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Good night.